For centuries, the names Lumina and Umbra were synonyms for light and shadow, order and chaos, sworn enemies bound by a prophecy whispered in hushed tones, a final clash foretelling the destruction of one by the other. Jennie, the stoic heir of Lumina, carried the weight of tradition like a second skin, her light magic a beacon of rigid control. Lisa, the rebellious scion of Umbra, moved with the fluidity of shadows, chafing under the strictures of her house, preferring forgotten lore to inherited prejudice. Neither expected their worlds to violently collide, not in battle, but in a forced union decreed by the stars themselves. A rare celestial alignment, seen only once in a millennium, fractured the ancient feud. Its arcane energy threatened to unravel the very fabric of magic itself, demanding a desperate, long-forgotten ritual. The only hope lay in a representative from each warring house. From the House of Lumina came Jennie, her golden robes shimmering, her face a mask of solemn duty. From the House of Umbra came Lisa, her dark attire blending with the deepening twilight, a defiant glint in her eyes. They met at the entrance to the neutral, ancient temple of celestial weaving, a place untouched by their houses' conflict, but now bearing witness to their reluctant convergence. Deep within the temple, the initial chamber pulsed with arcane energy, requiring the precise manipulation of both light and shadow to activate its ancient mechanisms. Jennie, accustomed to commanding pure, unwavering brilliance, found Lisa's shifting, unpredictable magic frustratingly elusive. Lisa, fluent in the fluidity of darkness, saw Jennie's rigid beams as blunt instruments, incapable of true nuance. Their first attempts at cooperation were a comedic and frustrating display of inherited biases and clashing magical styles. The forced ritual pushed them deeper into the temple, but not closer to understanding. Every puzzle, every magical mechanism they encountered became another battlefield for their ingrained animosity. Jennie, reliant on the ordered brilliance of Lumina magic, found Lisa's fluid shadows frustratingly unpredictable. Lisa, master of the subtle and the hidden, saw Jennie's overwhelming light as an arrogant, unsubtle force. Their initial attempts at cooperation were not just riddled with snide remarks, but competitive displays of power, each trying to outshine the other, proving their house's superiority even as the temple. The next chamber presented a floor of shifting runes, each requiring a precise magical touch, light to solidify, shadow to reveal hidden pathways. Jennie, rigid in her approach, tried to illuminate everything at once, only to find the overwhelming light scatter and reset the runes. Lisa, attempting to manipulate individual shadows, found Jennie's constant brilliance made her nuanced control impossible. Their verbal sparring was as sharp as their magic. The next section of the temple was a long, echoing hallway laced with intricate, almost invisible magical traps that responded to sound and excessive energy. Jennie's light spells, though powerful, triggered deafening sonic blasts and invisible magical tripwires. Lisa's subtle shadow movements allowed her to bypass some traps, but her stealth alone couldn't disable them. Their inability to combine their skills led to a series of jarring disruptions, further testing their already frayed patience. blasts of the hallway only amplified their growing frustration. Each failed attempt solidified their deep-seated beliefs about the other's house, deepening the animosity. They were trapped, not just by the temple walls, but by the weight of their own prejudices, unable to see a path forward that didn't involve their own rigid magical traditions.